Good morning, everyone. I'm Bill Monroe, and I want to welcome you, all of you, to this momentous occasion. As our campaign said, growth happens here, and today is just one of the many steps in that growth. We're really not done with growth happens here. We have so much to be grateful for that I was asked to start this gathering with a word of prayer. Would you all join me, please? Almighty God, it is so wonderful when your providence allows a community to work together for great causes that enrich the lives of our children, their parents, and our community. We give thanks for those citizens who saw a need 16 years ago for a quality nonprofit child care center. For those who have devoted themselves through the years to care for children in such a safe and caring community. We lift our thanks for those board members, community and business members who have worked tirelessly these past 4 years to fulfill the dream of a center our community can be proud of. Recognizing that today's ceremony is just a part of your plan for Greene County, we ask that you guide us in the months ahead. Keep our contractors safe. Give us vision for our future. Help us to remain grateful for this dream come true. We ask this in your Son's name. Amen. Well, what can I say except to thank so many of you for taking time from your busy schedules this morning to be a part of this event. It's been a long road to this spot. 16 years, countless caring board members, the compassionate and caring staff that really keep things going smoothly for our children. The Vision 2020 team that pegged this project as the third leg of the stool for economic development for Greene County. The dedication of those that got the other two legs completed, the new high school and the development of new housing, which you can see some over there, in fact. I would like to recognize some people here in our midst today. We may have some essential workers or our staff with us. Probably not, because they're probably taking care of the kids. However, they are with the kids, and we'd like to be able to thank them a little bit later for all that they continue to accomplish. I would like for our current board members to please raise your hand. Thank you. Although not a board member, I would be remiss if I did not recognize Carrie Peters, who has volunteered countless hours as our bookkeeper. Carrie? There she is, back there. Can any of our previous board members please raise your hand if you're here? 1, 2, 3, 4, way in the back. All right, thank you. Our board put together a fundraising team that has done a great job of seeing this near completion. The Greene County Development Corporation funded our grant writer, Becky Vanami, who has been instrumental in accessing over $500,000 in grants. Becky also provided training, structure, and guidance to our fundraising efforts. Becky, can you please raise your hand to be recognized? Thank you. Thank you, Becky. Donna Sutton and I co-chaired the fundraising team. As usual, when I say I co-chair something, I'm really just kind of like a cheerleader. On this team, Donna did more like 70% of the work, which means I probably did 30. And there's even some discussion if it was that much, according to Donna. Will those present from the fundraising team please raise your hand to be recognized? Thank you. We are so fortunate to have enlisted the services of Benjamin Design Collaborative of Ames for architectural work. John Lott and Jenny Evans have worked with us and refined this project in person, by Zoom calls, and emails for 2 years. John, will you and Jenny please raise your hand? She's over there someplace. And now, just 2 weeks ago, the board approved Harold Pike Construction from Ames as our contractor. Can those from Harold Pike Construction please raise your hand? Back there in the back. And we're really blessed to have Sam Harding, one of our board members, to be our owner's representative in this whole building project. So Sam's kind of the go-to person with Harold Pike and all the nitty-gritty stuff. Sam, raise your hand. Thank you. For this special occasion, we have asked for some remarks from just a few of the people and organizations that have allowed this to come to fruition. Our first remarks come from Beth Townsend, Director of Iowa Workforce Development, the administrator of Future Ready Iowa Child Care Challenge Grant, which has supplied us with a grant for $469,941 for this project. Beth, share.
Well, these cute little red patent leather shoes seemed like a good idea when I got up this morning, but I'm not so sure now. But I want to say thank you so much for inviting me to attend and participate in this wonderful event. Jefferson certainly is a community where growth happens and has long been a flagship community in Iowa in terms of what a community that is committed to working together to resolve issues, to make sure that the community continues to grow, that you address any issues that arise, and certainly child care is a workforce issue that is a main focal point of Governor Reynolds. I know that she wishes she could be here to join with you. She is committed to solving the child care crisis in Iowa, and her idea for the legislature to pass a $3 million child care challenge fund this past legislative session was a big step forward. So we want to say thank you to all of our legislators who voted in a bipartisan fashion unanimously to support the Future Ready Iowa Act, which also included an appropriation for the Child Care Challenge Fund. This fund was designed to help communities like Jefferson get projects like this off of the ground. We were so fortunate this year that we were able to use some federal funds that were available to DHS that also allowed us to complement the Child Care Challenge. We were able to award of $75,000 with over $300,000 that you can use for supplies and furnishings and to really get this project moving. So I want to say thank you. I want to say congratulations. I grew up in a really small town. It made Jefferson look pretty big. I actually ran into Craig Hurdle, who grew up in Clay Center, Nebraska with me.
Go Wildcats!
Go Wildcats. Amen, brother. And I said, Craig, you're going to get me in trouble, because he referenced my father right away. My father was the superintendent of schools in Clay Center, Nebraska for almost 30 years and was dedicated and understood the commitment that communities need to make to each other to address problems. And it's so fortunate to be able to attend this event with you, to celebrate with you, to say thank you for all that you're doing, to say keep doing it. We have $3 million more to give out next year, so hopefully we'll be back here again to see the finished product and celebrate those 145 additional kids walking in the doorway as members of your future community. So thank you again, congratulations, and keep up the great work.
Thank you, Beth. Sid Jones of Home State Bank and chair of Greene County Development Corporation has worked tirelessly both behind the scenes with his contacts and on our fundraising team as our go-to guy for contacting many of our large donors. Sid?
I can just about hide up behind here. Well, I thought maybe I'd just wing this morning, and as I started through the winging, it got a little bit windy. So I thought I better make a couple of notes to follow here. So Anyway, I just want to begin too by congratulating the Early Learning Center Board of Directors and the management team and administration, the steering committee that did so much in the fundraising effort, obviously, and reached a goal that I would say many people thought was maybe unachievable when it was started. So, congratulations to all of you. Greene County Development Corporation, as Bill mentioned, was asked in the early stages of this project if there's any way we could help fund Becky Von Amy to help us in the grant writing process, the fundraising, the steering committee, and those kinds of things. And so we met with Becky, and it was very obvious once we met with Becky that she had that rural Iowa approach, small community approach, and one that we thought really fit us. So we were happy to be a part of that in the very early stages, like Bill said. Jackie asked me today if I'd talk a little bit about Vision 2020. And if we go down memory lane here just a little bit, Vision 2020 was a community visioning project that started back in 2016 through 3 visioning sessions with Zach Mannheimer as our leader. Around 40 residents of Greene County, many of those under the age of 35, sat around and shared what their hopes and their dreams of the community might look like. They contemplated what was missing in Greene County, what is needed to support a workforce and workforce development in Greene County, and what would make Greene County a vibrant destination for young families. Based on a lot of community feedback, and they checked with a lot of their friends, so we had a lot of input come into this. 8 initiatives really emerged out of Vision 2020. Knowing that specific engineering was going to be needed, a lot of fundraising would be needed, marketing efforts would be needed, all of those things would need to come together. 6 of those 8 initiatives kind of rose to the top. And before that group engaged themselves, they prioritized those. Number 1 on that list, as Bill mentioned earlier, was Greene County Community School Facilities. Bill mentioned number 2 is housing, but housing and daycare were right side by side. They were very, very close. But housing was important, and as Bill mentioned, we got some housing going up over here and a really nice project being done with the old white apartments. And to my rear, obviously, is a very big project going on and still underway with the revamping and the restructuring of the middle school into what we would call rural luxury apartments. Also included in there was co-working space. We have a co-working space already, and that was done since that time, and that's with Gravitate. The alternative housing that we talked about, it's not just single-family homes like a lot of us aspired to when we first got into looking for a house. A lot of the young people really want apartments, but they want nice ones, and they're willing to pay for nice ones. The next one was a little surprise to me, but not to the young people, obviously. It was a brew pub. And a brew pub and sort of a business class restaurant. And it was explained to us by Zach Mannheimer that no matter what your age, a brew pub is attractive. It's just the time of day that you use it. And so you use it at lunch, and some of us would use it for an early dinner, and then that other crew kind of moves in about 10 o'clock. So anyway, the brew pub. Aquatic Recreation Center was really high on the list, an indoor aquatic recreation center. I don't think a pool necessarily, but more something like you would find in a nice hotel, and an aquatic recreation, mainly for small children, probably 10 years and under. The last one was connectivity and outdoor recreation, and that's where this park piece comes into it. So we obviously have had a lot of success. Number 1, the Greene County Community School Facilities, and Tim is here today, and there's going to be a celebration on Sunday to help with that. The co-working space, as I mentioned, has been created already. There's housing that's some is done, some is in process, some is planned. The design for the brew pub and the restaurant, the public house, is really becoming a reality as well. Our city park and recreation department has considered designs of what that aquatic center might look like on the east side of the community center. And this blacktop area that you see back here, and where this building sits today, is what the city's looking at for design of a green space and that connectivity where this is right in the center. Obviously, the South Grade School, where we're at right now, is where the Greene County Early Learning Center sits today and will be constructed. So what about the Greene County Early Learning Center, and what piece does that really have within Vision 2020? There's several of those projects that came together that we now refer to as the 3 Block Project, and it was referred to that actually at the very end of Vision 2020. And it starts with the community center on the north and that aquatic park. It moves to the old middle school building and the apartment project. It then moves down here to where this early learning center is in this park area. So that's the 3 blocks that we're talking about, and that's where a lot of concentration's been put. As far as the Early Learning Center in the Vision 2020 final report, I'm going to read a quote that was in there about the Early Learning Center. So, quote, "The center operating out of a former grade school needs to not only grow in space, but also remodel its rooms. Initially, the nonprofit was looking at a building new in a different location. However, cost and the ability to be a part of the major 3 Block project has moved the board's thinking toward one of the following options. Stay and expand the current facilities, or build a new facility directly next to the current facility and tear down the existing to use for park and or parking. The renovation would include a new state-of-the-art playground center just behind the building. Just completed was a daycare estimate for the project at $2.3 million. That was 5 years ago. So anyway, a really close estimate, even back then. So here we are today, 5 years later, celebrating a lot of the hard work that a lot of people have put into this. And we'd be remiss if we didn't thank the school board and Tim Christensen for the vision they've had in sharing this piece of land and what it'll all result in. So thank you very much for including me, Jackie. I'm sorry I took too much time on Vision 2020, but it's kind of an important deal. Thank you.
Thank you, Sid. Grow Greene County was instrumental in endorsing this project, as we received over $500,000 in grant funding from this organization. And that organization has changed the possibilities, not only for us, but for Greene County in so many ways. Here is Rick Moraine to share some remarks. Rick?
Thank you, Bill. Can all of you see me? Am I underneath this like Sid said? Yeah. It's a privilege for Grow Greene County Gaming Corporation to be part of this project. We're a funding engine for local projects all around Greene County and in the 6 contiguous counties around us, like the other 18 state-regulated casinos are for their areas around the state. Grow Greene County's vision is positively growing Greene County for families and businesses to thrive. And this project is right in our wheelhouse for that. Greene County needs more young families. Our population shrank slightly in the new census figures, as it has in most censuses in the past 100 years. Quality child care is a necessity if that's going to come to pass in our county. Beth Townsend's presence here today underscores that necessity, and Beth, thanks very much for coming up. Grow Greene County gets about $1.5 million a year from Wild Rose Entertainment. We make contributions for projects to the county's municipalities, school districts, GCDC that Sid represented, Greene County Community Foundation, and the community foundations of the 6 counties that surround us. After those commitments are done, we have several $100,000 a year left for worthwhile projects. Our commitment to Greene County Early Learning Center extends over the next 4 years, 6 figures a year for the next 4 years. That brings up this year's election. And since I've got the mic, I'm going to push for the election. Iowa law requires counties that hold a state gaming license to renew that referendum, that commitment, over 8 years after the first one. Greene County's referendum took place in 2013. So in this November's city and school board elections, voters of the county will be voting on whether to continue to have Wild Rose here. So far in Iowa, every renewal referendum like ours has passed, I think, with a higher percentage than the original referendum did. Greene County's first referendum was 75.1% yes, a 3-to-1 vote. I fully expect that our November vote will replicate that. But we need to get people out to vote to make sure that happens. If it doesn't, all bets are off, so to speak. We need Wild Rose here for many reasons, one of which is our 4-year commitment to the Early Learning Center, as well as our 20-year commitment for the gym and performing arts center at the new high school. We want to continue our ongoing partnership with Greene County Early Learning Center for the lasting benefits of the families of Greene County.
Thank you, Rick. Our Greene County supervisors took a bold step initially in this project, over a year ago committing to be a lead financial supporter. Their $250,000 of a commitment helped everyone realize the significance of this project. They knew that the county saw a need for this. We've asked Chair John Muir to share some remarks with us. John?
Good morning. It was a bold, we get a lot of requests, and every time we get one we have to meet hurdles with whether we should participate or not. And when we first met with them, and we had to take a step back and just ask them several times how this benefited the county as a whole. And there's children here from all around the county, all through the county. And so we ended up hanging our sign on economic development, which at the beginning, I'll admit, was kind of like, we're stretching, it's economic, how's this all trickle down? And forgive me if I step on anybody's toes, babysitters. I mean, we're babysitting. And well, since that time, because of the last year, and I've come to realize more and more, it is economic development through putting people back into the workforce. Question I'd asked at a meeting I told Jackie about was, what happened? I mean, we had a workforce, and then it's just gone. Overnight, it seemed like it disappeared. Well, a lot of that I was shared with that it was mothers who'd stayed home for the last year because of COVID, and they just can't find childcare, aren't coming back into the workforce. And there's just been several things like that over the last year or so, 2 years, that has reinforced that we made the right decision from the start. And I think this is an exciting project, and it's going to be good for the whole county. So, thank you.
Thank you, John. Greene County Early Learning Center has had the Greene County Schools as its landlord for several years. This partnership has been so important for the project, not only for the past, but also for the future. Because the Early Learning Center was able to buy this tract of land for this project for $1. We thank the school board for its support, and we've asked Tim Christensen to share with us.
If you were following the program, Rick and I were supposed to speak back to back, but since we're dressed alike, we decided to break that up a little bit. But if you want to know where to get these shirts, just contact either one of us. We will let you know. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I told Jackie I'd make it short and sweet. The first thing I want to, on behalf of the Greene County Schools, want to say thank you for the partnership that we've had with the Early Learning Center for the last 16 years. One thing, it's enabled us to make use of our buildings that otherwise we would not be making use of, which is a great thing. And your being here has greatly had a positive impact on our enrollment, which again is fantastic. So really want to thank you for that. Look forward to continuing our partnership in the future, and just want to say congratulations, the best of luck as you embark on this new adventure. So thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Leading our staff for nearly 15 years, Sherry Cerveny is a knowledgeable, devoted, and steady leader, working with staff, children, parents, and the community to maintain reliable care and education for our community's children. Will you share some thoughts with us, Sherry?
Well, our journey began 16 years ago. The support and donations from the community and the determination of the first board members made the Greene County Early Learning Center a reality. Over the years, we have served families from all areas of Greene County and families that have lived in all of the surrounding counties. More than 650 children have passed through our doors. Choosing childcare is one of the most critical decisions for working parents. We believe that finding quality childcare should not be a struggle for families. We are the only childcare center in Greene County that is rated as a Star 4 on the quality rating system by the Department of Human Services, which shows our commitment to staff education and training, health and safety measures, environmental practices to benefit the children that we serve. Continuous care, school readiness, reliable childcare for the workforce, and increased economic development are just a few of the benefits families and communities receive from every dollar invested in quality care and education. Building a new facility designed for children has always been a goal for the Greene County Early Learning Center. I have been here since the doors first opened, so for me, today is truly a momentous occasion. Years of dreaming, planning, and perseverance have paved the way for this project. Thank you for those who have helped growth happen here.
Thank you, Sherry. Lastly, this project could not have happened without the diligent, methodical, inspirational leadership of Jackie Andrew. Listed as co-president of the board is really a disservice to Jackie. You see, I am also co-president. But she and I always know that she is more of a 90% president and I've got my 10% contribution. She has brought such a skill set to this board and project that we really could not, in my opinion, have gotten to today's ceremony. Positive, cheerleader, compassionate, publicist, politician, determined. Those are just a few words that I know our board members would use to describe Jackie. And not just on this project, but basically everything in which she is involved. Jackie, can you share with us, please?
Well, thank you, Bill, for the kind words, only some of which are true. But the respect is mutual, and I'm proud to work with you. What is true is that we are all full of gratitude for the support for this needed project. It's my turn to briefly distribute thanks to very significant people. To the current board for its vision and stamina to reach this important milestone. We are so blessed by their knowledge and their commitment. What a great team effort. I'd like to name them all. Bill Monroe, Allie Hamilton, who's a nurse and she is working right now, Becky Hamilton, Tori Gettler, Kristen Russell, Jillian Engelmeyer, and Sam Harding. Thank you. And I'd also like to thank Carrie Peters for keeping track of all the numbers. She has a skill set that I definitely don't have, and we are grateful for her as well. To the many past board members who guided this nonprofit with integrity and vision for 16 years to benefit children and families throughout the area, we are standing on your shoulders. Thank you. To the Growth Happens Here fundraising committee members who shared the story of this project far and wide, asking for those checkbooks to open wide, and we are grateful for Donna and Bill for their diligent leadership and Becky for her inspiration. One more time. And of course, this would not be possible without the donors. Hundreds of businesses, individuals, and entities who generously gave or granted because of the impact of this center will have far into the future. We are beyond grateful for your belief in this center's ability to make growth happen here for children and families. Many of our donors are here today, so let's show them our appreciation. As an example of the center's impact, I'd like to introduce Emma Halterman, who has a long history with the Early Learning Center, to say a few words. Come on up, Emma.
Good morning. My name is Emma Halterman. I attended the Early Learning Center from the day we opened until I was nearly 11 years old. Over the years, I made many friends, some of which I'm still friends with. I have so many great memories, and I still talk about the things that me and my friends did every day here. I started working here this past spring. It's exciting that I work in the same center I grew up with. I promise the children that go here will develop memories that they will cherish forever and develop friendships that could potentially last a lifetime. I love this center as a small child, and I love being an employee here. My plan is to work here until I graduate high school in a couple of years, and then I'm hoping to continue working here during college breaks. I am so excited that I can continue being a part of the Early Learning Center, and I look forward to the changes that are happening. Thank you.
Thank you, Emma. Now, as we prepare to actually put shovels in the ground, I'd like to recognize our staff. Becky? We want to sincerely thank our staff for their dedication to make a positive, lasting difference in the lives of these children. And as you can see, they are coming out. Let's give our staff a round of applause. So, we're inviting any other young people in the audience, and I know there are some, to come forward right now. And you'll notice that each child has a shovel and will participate along with the board in the groundbreaking. And this is the important part. We want these kids to remember that they helped on the very first day to start this building. We want them to know that the community, the county, businesses, and individuals here cared enough to construct this facility designed just for them. And maybe, just maybe, they will remember this day when, as adults, they are choosing a community, and Jefferson and Greene County will be at the top of their list. That, my friends, is how growth happens here. Let's dig in.
Look at all those people out there. Put your shovel in the dirt. The rocks.
Are you ready? Here we go. Here we go. We're digging in.
Put your shovel in the rocks.
Put your shovels in.
Put your shovel
Caterpillars, put your shovels in the rock.
You'll remember this day, guys.
Caterpillars, come on, shovels in the dirt. Let's go.
Thank you all for being here. Thank you. Now, water is